How's it going, me family? C.Mea here with my 2017 stop motion contest. I have done one in 2014, approximately 2 years and a half ago. Here I am with my second stop motion contest. Of course, I will be using the same point system that I was using back then, except this time it is going to be even more fair, 100% fair this time. A lot of things are going to be improved from that stop motion contest, and everything is going to be much better. I'll go over the rules right now. First of all, any stop motion is accepted. It can be a Brickfilm, it can be a Claymation, it can be a real life animation, anything. As long as there is stop motion in it, it is 100% accepted. Second, no length restriction. There was a length restriction last time, this time there is none. You can upload a 10-second animation, you can upload a 2-hour-long animation. As long as there's animation, it is fine. There is once again not going to be a category restriction. Gore, comedy, anything is accepted. The video you enter must have been uploaded in 2016 or 2017. This contest is unfortunately only for subscribers. You can subscribe and then participate, no issues with that. This is mainly because the prizes are tailored for subscribers. A lot of things are going to be like X-Fighters related and stuff like that. So if you're not familiar with my channel, the prizes at the end might not necessarily appeal to you as much as other people. But if you get into my series, then yes, I'm sure you'll enjoy the prizes. And I'm sure like some other prizes are definitely worthwhile for you guys. So if you're not subscribed already, please do so. If you don't want to, thank you for at least checking out the vid. If you are already subscribed, you can enjoy this contest fully. Thank you very much. You have to have created or helped in the making of the entry. You cannot steal other people's videos. You cannot use other people's videos without their permission. You have to have put some sort of effort into the making of the video. And finally, the winner is obviously going to be based on percentage. There's certain points for every category, and the total divided, your number of points divided by the total is going to give you the percentage, and the winners are going to be ranked by percentage. And with the new system, it is 100% fair, 100% impartial, so you have a good chance of winning if you have a good animation, and I'll get into that a little bit deeper. Now the total. It is going to be on 200 points, so that when divided, it gives you a 100% accurate percentage number, so that it is 100% impartial for everyone. There's not going to be a 0.0001 mistake. Everything is going to be 100% correct because the points are going to be like 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10, not 2.5 or 2.6. So the numbers are not going to get wonky, and that is good. Alright, now let's get into this. This is in no particular order, just the order that it's written on my sheet. First off is lighting for 10 points. If your lighting is good, if the set is lit enough or lit the way it should be, like if it's a night scene, I don't want it to be bright. Everything needs to be appropriate, but 10 points for lighting. It is a very important aspect of animation. The next point is going to be animation as a whole, how you use your FPS. It's not the number of FPS, it's how you use your frames per second and the rest of the animation, if it flows smoothly, what you're doing with your animation, how you animate your characters, and how animated everything seems. 15 points, one of the best and most important aspects of animation or stop motion in general. Now the next point is audio for 40 points. Now the reason why audio is 40 points is because it consists of 4 minor categories. Each is worth 10 points, so that when added together it gives you 40, and the reason for that is so that, there is no difference in the total for everyone. Like in the past contest, if you didn't have a specific criteria, it was going to get removed from your total, hence changing your total percentage by just a small percent. That's not going to happen this time. If you don't have a specific criteria, it's going to be the weight of that criteria is going to fall back on another one from the audio category. So voicing is 10 points, obviously very important. Video volume is 10 points as well. I need to hear your video well, not too loud, not too low. It needs to be a really balanced volume, and everything else needs to balance together. Let's say you have voicing and music, everything needs to be balanced. The next point is background music for 10 points as well, and the last point is sound effects for 10 points. You might not have all of those in your animation, but you surely have some volume or some audio. If you only have one category, it's going to count for 40 points, aka it's going to be out of 10 and then multiplied by 4. That means you don't actually lose from your total, and it is 100% impartial, as I've said earlier. The next point is the writing or the script. How you write your story, how you write your events, 15 points. Very, very important. Next up is the visual effects or the special effects. Let's say you like visual effects, fireballs everywhere, lightning, all of that. Good, 10 points. If that doesn't appeal to you, you are at least using some special effects, I hope. That is going to be counted instead for 10 points. Like, let's say you use the flying technique, or masking, or anything like that. Or even if you make your characters move in a very special way, that's not necessarily traditionally stop motion. Or if you use something slightly complicated or anything special to aid your animation, that is an effect in my opinion. So effects in general, 10 points. You can have a combination of both, one or the other, but surely you have something for 10 points. Next up is the story. What happens exactly? Not how you write it, but what actually happens. What gets translated into the act of stop motion. 15 points for that. If you don't actually have a story, the events that happen in that stop motion for 15 points. Really, really important. Next up, a very minor point, it's the transitions in between every frame or in between every scene. What kind of transition do you have? You don't need to have a slide or anything like that, but if it just cuts and it jumps back and forth and it doesn't make sense, if it's confusing, you lose points. If everything flows nicely, 5 points. The next point is appeal for 15 points. Extremely important. If someone were to click on your animation, how likely is it that they would enjoy that animation? I will look at my own personal interests and other people's interests in, YouTube, how your video fits, what it can bring that is new to the table, all these sort of things. 15 points, as I said, extremely important. The next point is software use. Now, this is a really, really cool point that does not put people that use Movie Maker at a disadvantage compared to the people who use Sony Vegas. Basically, I'll get into that later. But depending on the software that you use to animate, I will look at how well you use that software to judge how well your animation is. So you don't actually lose points if you don't have the budget for a better system or a better program. That's all going to get into details later, but you're not penalized for it. Yeah, 10 points. Next up is category for 15 points. Back in my other stop motion contest, I had a few categories. Now everything is grouped into one thing called category. I'll get into details for that later as well, but that is worth 15 points. It's extremely important. Basically, if you want to do a funny animation, it needs to be funny. If it's a serious animation, it needs to be serious. It needs to retain that theme that you wanted to give it firstly. Creativity for 5 points. This is just a little bonus category to give you a few more points. If you do some really cool things, really creative things that I find really cool, yes, you'll get more points there. Now, the depth of the animation. What is the meaning behind your animation? Not just, if you have a fight, is it just pointless fighting to fill out minutes and seconds of your animation? Or is there actually a goal behind that? Is there a purpose behind every frame? Did you just do that frame because you wanted more animation time, or did you do that frame because it's important, or that scene because it's important to the animation as a whole? The depth of the animation for 10 points. Next up is going to be the background or the scene of your animation for 10 points. Another really important aspect of stop motion. Next is the stability of your camera, of your layout. If it's shaky, if it's meant to be shaky, that is understandable. But if it is shaky and it just bounces back and forth, it can create headaches for viewers, and it is just very confusing. That is 10 points. It will be very, very severe on that point, and basically everything, but I'll be fair for every single point in every animation out there, so that is good. And lastly, the overall quality for 15 points. Now, that is very self-explanatory. I guess that's just basically everything crammed into that one aspect. For 15 points, just what's my first reaction to it? Is it good? Is it bad? 15 points. Very important. Next up, we'll get into the application format. Basically, I want you to comment below your animation. I want to take a look at it. You need to submit your animation somehow. This is the part of the video where I tell you how to do that. Of course, no links allowed. I used to allow links back in my old stop motion contest. But now YouTube just puts everything in the spam box and I don't check it every day. So please do not leave a link below. It will automatically get flagged or, suspected of, spam. So I will not be able to see it. Please, no links. Instead, I want you to copy the exact title of your video entirely. What I suggest you do is you copy paste the animation's title into the comment box. That way you don't make any mistakes. Because one letter or whatever that's different, if I search for it and I can't find it, you will not be credited for it. You will not enter the animation contest. So if I can find it, that is perfectly fine. If I don't, then you can't enter. You're gonna get disqualified for that. Next up, I want you to specify the category of your animation. This is a very important point, and if you do not specify the category, you will automatically get 0 on that aspect. If it's comedy, put it as comedy. I will judge your animation as a comedy animation. If it has 2 or 3 categories, put the main ones there. But what is your animation about? Is it adventure? Is it action? Is it a sad animation, horror, gore, comedy, whatever? Put it down below. I will judge your animation according to that. And the final point is you need to specify the software you use to create your animation. If you use Movie Maker, put that down below. If you used iMovie, put that below. Sony Vegas, Movie Studio Platinum 13, which is what I use. It's pretty decent. Premiere Pro, Final Cut, whatever. Just put it down below. I will judge your animation based on that. If you have a high quality software versus a really, really cheap software, you're not going to lose points because of that. It is very understandable that you may not have the budget for something really high quality, so you will be judged based on how well you use that program instead. Now, of course, the best part of the video, the prizes. Everyone wants to know about the prizes. If you score in the top 10 stop motions, you will get 1 like on the entry, and that doesn't just mean 1 like. When I like a video, it is shared on Twitter, so it kinda counts as a small shout out as well. The top 10 videos will get a like, and they will also be shared on Twitter automatically because of that. 4th place will get 2 likes. I'll make sure that they are at different times. I think there's like a 1 to 2 day delay for when I like a video and it gets promoted on Twitter. That means you'll get a like, you'll get promoted on Twitter. A few days afterwards, you'll be liked again, and you'll get a 2nd promotion on Twitter. 3rd place, 3 likes, same thing, 3 shares. 2nd place, 3 likes as well, so 3 shares, plus a shout out in the results vid. Now, what I mean by shout out is I will describe what you do on your channel and stuff, and I'll go more in depth about you as a YouTuber as well as you as an animator. Now, 1st place, the grand prize, 3 likes, so 3 shoutouts plus a shoutout in the result vid. Now, this is the cool part, and this is why it's more tailored to my subscribers. You will be mailed. Now, for that, of course, you need to contact me privately. We can arrange address and stuff, all that. Or if you have a PO box, it'll be sent there. I will send you Dustin's remains. If you don't know, spoiler alert, maybe a bit too late. From the finale, Dustin did die in the final episode of X Fighter Season 2, and I did have to cut his torso in 2 halves with like some sort of cutting machine, and that was a prop that I used. I still have the pieces, so those pieces will be mailed to you. I think it's a really cool prop to get. It's going to be really, really interesting, but that is not all. There might be, depending on how you value that last prop, a better prize for you. If you are 1st place, you will be able to co-write with me an episode of X Fighter Season 0. Not the one that's coming that I'm working on right now, but the one afterwards. So basically, you pitch in your ideas, I pitch in mine, we work something together, we write the script or something, I write the script with your ideas, and we figure out what happens in that X Fighter Season 0 episode, and I make it happen. So basically, if you're 1st place, you get to choose practically whatever you want for an episode of X Fighters. So I think that is really cool. It's something that I can give to my viewers. It's not just likes this time, they're actually prizes, and I think it's something that's really cool. I'm really proud of that. I hope you'll have fun participating. It is going to be amazing. Also, every video link will be in the results vid in the video description, in order of 1st place, 2nd place, etc., with the percentage. That way you can see how well you did, and you can compare it to others. And if you actually want me to go into details why I rated your thing in such ways, I can definitely go with you and explain your results or whatever after the results vid. So that's going to be really interesting. Now, before I end this video, I will be showing 2 examples of stop motions I did. Mainly my first ever stop motion should appear on the screen very shortly. I will have the detailed analysis for that video because I will be judging those 2 videos. They're gonna appear on the screen. So my first ever stop motion versus the remake that happened 4 years afterwards. Now this is going to be really cool. You get to see what improved, how I judge things. You can go and check out these 2 videos, make the comparison, you know, compare with how you think you'll fare. You get an estimate of what your percentage might be and stuff like that. I think it is really cool. I will end the video right now with those 2 things. And as always,